teams in the NFL. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to each and every one of you. It is January 16th in the year 2023, or in the 2023rd year of our Lord. Of course, it's Monday, and if it's Monday at 8 a.m., it is time for the Monday morning review on the Amazing Grace Sports Network. And I am Clay Morris here to bring it to you. I bring it to you with humor and I bring it to you with no sacred cows. Also, I try to give you different angles on how the game played out as I watched most of some of the games. Let's put it that way. Hopefully, you had a great weekend. I did. It's a little cold this weekend, each and every way. Even here in Florida, it was cold. It was only 50 degrees. And so it was kind of tough for the people down here walking around in flip flops and 50 degrees. Some people could do it, some people couldn't. I was one of the ones who couldn't. Nope. I had on a nice warm hat, my Where's Waldo hat, and I stayed warm. Okay. So the NFL, the wild card weekend is over in the NFL, and it turned out to be pretty exciting. It turned out to be better than expected. I mean, we had some of the teams that just made it into the playoffs playing some of the top seeded teams, and there were some upsets. So let's get on to it because they were all hotly contested, and there were two upsets. Let's begin with Saturday's games. Now, Seattle Seahawks, who were once on top in the Western Conference and NFC, five or six games into the season before they went to Germany and played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and everything fell apart there. They traveled to Northern California. So actually they went south. They traveled south to Northern California to do battle with the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, it was a battle. Sort of, kind of. But in the end, the 49ers put the wood to the Seattle Seahawks, 41-23. Seattle was hoping that San Francisco's rookie quarterback, Brock Purdy, that young guy who came in the middle of the season, I think toward the end of the season, that he would have the jitters. He would feel the playoff pressure and wouldn't be able to get the job done. And he would just fall apart. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Purdy was cool, calm, collected, and then some. He threw for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also ran for 16 yards and a touchdown. That, my friends, is pretty darn good. Definitely not bothered by the moment, okay? In addition, San Francisco's defense was aggressive and relentless. They sacked Geno Smith 3 times for 25 yards, and they forced a fumble that led to a touchdown. Now, despite the appearance of the score, what I mean is getting beat by 18 points, the Seahawks just didn't roll over and play dead. No, they came out and competed. Going into the second half, Seattle actually led 17-16. And going into the fourth quarter, they were only down by 6 points, 23-17. So they were there. They were right in striking distance. They made a good game of it. Really, they did. Okay? But in the fourth, the 49ers scored 18 points, and it was hasta la vista, baby. All in all, it was a really good game for both teams. The 49ers showed their resilience. They didn't fold when they were down or when trouble came. Brock Purdy stepped up to the plate. And the Seahawks, they showed a willingness to fight all the way to the end. Now, the 49ers will host the winner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. That game is tonight. We'll see what happens. In a mini upset, I say mini because the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay, I'm not going to preface it. In a mini upset, the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that nobody saw making the playoffs this season, defeated another team that absolutely nobody saw making the playoffs this season. The Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Los Angeles Chargers 31-30. And yes, this game, well, it didn't start off very close, but this game was a barn burner from beginning to end. Okay? So these two teams that nobody picked these two teams to make the playoffs. Nobody picked the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had something like the third best or the third worst or the first or second worst record in the last 3 years. That's right. This team had only won like 6 or 7 games total over the last 3 years. Okay? Nobody picked them for the playoffs. Nobody picked the Chargers. People thought the Chargers might have talent. They might have this or that or that or this, but nobody picked them to make the playoffs. I don't know of anyone. I checked all the reports and no one picked the Chargers to make the playoffs. But I could be wrong. But it's safe to say that the majority of people in the world did not pick either of these two teams to be in the playoffs. And there they were, playing one another. And the Jaguars won 31-30. Let's go over how they did that. Trevor Lawrence, that star quarterback that everyone said had all the qualities 4 years ago when he was drafted, finally showed up. And what did he do? He threw 3 interceptions in the first half. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 3 interceptions in the first half. And some of them weren't even close to a receiver. I don't know who he was throwing to. It looks like some of the times he was just throwing to the other team. Asante Samuels Jr. had 2 of them. So maybe he was just targeting Asante Samuels, and actually it was good passes to him. And Asante showed great hands for a quarterback. He caught him. So he threw 3 interceptions in the first half. Now couple that with a fumble on a punt that the Chargers punted in, and the Jaguars played inexplicably. I don't know. Well, he'll have to explain what he was doing, okay? Maybe what his thought process was. But anyway, the ball bounced off him. He looks like he wanted to back away from the ball. Then he went toward the ball as it was, going gyrating on the field. Let it touch him. And of course, well, then the Chargers recovered it, and they had the ball down on this something like 20-yard line. So anyway, there were 4 turnovers in the first half for Jacksonville. At one point in the second quarter, the Jaguars were down 24-0. 24-0. This is in the second quarter. They are down 24-0. That's like the point of no return, basically. Okay, 24-0. Okay, but before the first half was over, they managed to score 7 points. But the Chargers also scored another field goal, so it's now 27-7 at halftime. Now, nobody is seeing anything possibly happening here. There's no way. I mean, we're talking about the Jaguars. They're not coming back. Let's see. What was it? 28-3 for the Atlanta Falcons and Tom Brady when they brought the Patriots back. Okay, people will say, okay, that's Tom Brady. We're going to start saying the same thing about Trevor Lawrence. That's Trevor Lawrence on the other side. You better be careful. He'll come back. Well, we might have to start thinking that way because Trevor Lawrence did come back. Okay, what happened in the second half was all due to the Jaguars' grit, their guts, and their perseverance. Because the Chargers didn't fumble. No, they didn't fumble the ball to him. Justin Herbert, the quarterback, Chargers quarterback, he didn't throw any interceptions. Okay? There were no gifts given to the Jaguars, but still they overcame. Now, how did they do that? Let's go over that. Okay, they took the possession on the kickoff, second half, and they went 89 yards in 14 plays and scored a touchdown. And now the game was 27-14. Okay. All right, at least they made a fight of it, right? And the Chargers, on the next possession, they went 45 yards for a field goal, which made it 30-14. So the Jags are still 16 points back. And this might explain something that would happen. On the next possession, The Jags went 68 yards in 5 plays for another touchdown. And what I thought was inexplicable at the time, them going for a 2-point conversion, was really not that bad of an idea if they had made it. If they score and they score again, then the game is tied. So they went for the 2-point conversion, and they didn't get it. It failed. So instead of the score being 30-21, it was now 30-20. They were a touchdown in the field goal away. Sound good? Okay, let's get it up to par. Into the fourth quarter we go. Now the Chargers drive down the field and they miss a very makeable 40-yard field goal. I mean, it was basically a chip shot. Okay, the Jags took over and they go 70 yards for another touchdown and made the 2-point conversion. Okay, so now the score was 30-28. There are now 5 minutes left. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes left in the game. Los Angeles has the ball, and they need to score, or they need to just hold on to the ball for 5 minutes. But it would be better if they score too, okay? So they have the ball. But bated breath, they're trying to make something happen. But what happens? Nothing, okay? So after holding on to the ball for just 2 minutes and change, they punted. So Jacksonville takes over. Jacksonville goes 61 yards in 10 plays and kicks the game, and they kick the game-winning field goal. Well, there's 3 seconds left on the clock, but by the time the ball went through the upright, there were no seconds on the clock. They kicked the field goal. It went from 30-28 to 31-30. Jaguars win. Yes, show us the confetti. Let the balloons go. The Jaguars won at home 31-30. No time left on the clock. Perfectly engineered drive. Who would have thunk it? And who would have thunk they would have been in the playoffs in the first darn place? Nobody. So it makes it even sweeter for the Jaguars. They got their first win in the playoffs in a while. I don't think the Jags have been in since Mark Brunell, and, well, we don't even want to go there. Their prize for their unexpected but not unexpected win over the Chargers, okay, mini upset, is a trip to Kansas City. Yeah, they're going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here they come. They got a crazy little football team, and I don't think that good luck to the Panthers. Stranger things have happened, but they're going to Kansas City, and that's that. As far as the Chargers go, the game was yours, Chargers. You let it slip away. You played too conservative. You tried to run the ball when you should have passed it. Okay, you have a great running back in Austin Eckler, but pass the darn ball and get some points on the board. That's what wins. I would say you'll know next time, but you never know when there's going to be a next time in NFL. That's that. Now, in the first game on Sunday, the Miami Dolphins traveled up to upstate New York. That's right. They went up there next to Canada, Niagara Falls, the whole 9 yards, to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, they wanted to contest them. Wanted to contest the Buffalo Bills on their home field, where actually they had no choice because they lost so many games at the tail end of the season that they were lucky to be in the playoffs. So they had to go wherever they could go. Okay. Now, I expected a blowout because I think Miami lost 6 of the last 7 games. Something close to that. They look terrible. Tua tags still in concussion protocol. Teddy Bridgewater still injured. So they're starting their backup rookie, Skylar Thompson. And of course, none of us expecting anything spectacular out of Skylar. And he didn't give us anything spectacular. What happened was the Miami Dolphins defense played a good game, and Josh Allen imploded nearly to the defeat of his team. Okay. So I expected a blowout. Okay. They were 14-point favorites. Everyone saw it the same way I did. But the final score of the game was 34-31 Buffalo. 34-31. Buffalo barely escaped with the win. Now, that's not how it started. The Bills were up 17-0 at one point in the second quarter. And everything looked to be flowing, except Josh Allen just didn't look right. He wasn't settled in the pocket, and that will come back to bite them in the butt. Okay, because in the second quarter, it all unraveled thanks to two Josh Allen interceptions. Those interceptions allowed Miami to come back and score 17 points. And at one point, it was 17-17. The game was tied. Miami came back and scored kicked the field goal and made it 20-17 before halftime. So I'm sure there was panic in Buffalo. The Dolphins. Now, are you kidding me? Are within 3 points of Buffalo? How can that be? Wow. Yeah, anyway. On Buffalo, it gets worse. Okay, it's 20-17 at halftime. And on the very first possession, okay, that they have, Buffalo, okay, because the Dolphins got the ball on the kickoff and they punted. And on the Bills' very first possession, Josh Allen drops back to pass, and he's tackled by Eric Rowe. Eric Rowe, the cornerback, comes in off the left side and just hammers Josh Allen. Josh Allen sees him at the last minute, tries to get out of the way, but it's too late. Eric Rowe hammers him, knocks the ball out. Okay, and if the ball was scooped up by the Miami's defensive end, Zach Sieler. He weighs about 300 and some odd pounds. He grabs the ball on the 5-yard line, and it looked pretty darn good. He just picked it up and started running, like pretty good hands and pretty good agility. Ran in there for 5 yards for a touchdown, and now Miami led the game, 24-20. Yeah, it was about over. It looked pretty much done because Buffalo looked lost in the sauce. They looked down and out. They punted on their next two possessions, and the ball was in the Dolphins' court. It was all theirs. All they had to do was score another field goal or touchdown, and I'm sure the Buffalo would have thrown the towel. They just didn't have it yesterday. They didn't look like they were cohesive in anything that they tried to do. But Miami, being the friendly, happy-go-lucky Dolphins that they are, like Flipper, whatever that noise Flipper used to make. I don't even think, is that really a dolphin sound that Flipper used to make? Anyway, they like to help humans, dolphins do, I guess that's what they say, even though they have some pretty sharp teeth. I'm sure if they want to, they could probably eat us up. But the point I'm making is that the Dolphins were friendly, and they gave Buffalo a hand up when things looked down. They threw them what is that thing they throw in the water? They threw them a buoy, whatever, a life rope. Yeah, they threw them a life rope because Skylar Thompson went back there and threw an interception when he didn't have to. Okay, just a bad pass. So he throws the ball, Buffalo intercepts it, and now they have the ball on Miami's 25-yard line. That's it, 25. I'm not even going to go there. But anyway, they only had 25 yards to go for a touchdown, and they got it, okay? And soon the Bills began to lead, okay? It was 27-24. Now the Dolphins, we have to remember that Skylar Thompson is the third-string quarterback, and he did not look good. I don't think the future's with him. So they have a chance, but they punt on their next possession, and then the Bills scored another touchdown to make it 34-24, and basically that was the game. Even though the Dolphins scored a touchdown at the end to make it 34-31, it was done. That was done. So Buffalo moves on, and guess who they get to play? Buffalo gets to play Cincinnati. Yep, they get to play Cincinnati Bengals because just like Buffalo escaped in their game, Cincinnati also escaped with a win in their game against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens have lost, I think, 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last 6, and nobody expected much out of them, okay? But this game featured a fired up, inspired Ravens defense. They had 8 hits and 4 sacks for minus 24 yards on Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, and they had a vicious hit on Hayden Hurst that resulted in a fumble recovery. It was the Ravens defense that kept them in the game. It was the Ravens defense that seemed like they played offense most of the time. But we will see. Some things had to happen. Now, Cincinnati was an 8-point pregame favorite, and Baltimore was with their backup quarterback Tyler Huntley. But Baltimore led the game at halftime 10-9. That's all. Cincinnati wasn't able to put together anything. I think 3 field goals, that was it. Baltimore was stifling them. It was ugly. I must admit, yes, the game, it was a lot of hard hitting, a lot of defense. Cincinnati's defense was pretty good, but then again, they were going against Tyler Huntley. But it was ugly, ugly, ugly. But it looked beautiful if you were a Ravens fan because it gave them a chance to win. Baltimore's offense was predicated on runs and sweeps and short passes. There were a couple of passes downfield, but it was mostly set up because of the running game and the sweeps game in which the Bengals defense was fooled, and there was a guy who could sneak out the backfield or sneak down the field, and Huntley would find him, and the ball just seemed to float forever. Okay? But they weren't going downfield. And Baltimore's defense, they were mugging Cincinnati's offense, so they couldn't get the ball downfield. Most of the game, Joe Burrow looked like an antelope getting chased down by a pack of lions. He was literally running for his life. It wasn't poor Joe. He just had that look in his eyes like, oh gosh, because they were getting after him. So going into the fourth quarter, the score was tied 17-17, and there was panic seeping in the Cincinnati Bengals fans in that stadium. What was going on here? Okay. Could the Ravens actually walk in to Cincinnati and defeat the Bengals in their home stadium? Well, the truth is, yes, actually, they could have, because they were down on the 1-yard line at the 11:39 mark in the fourth quarter, with the game tied at 17-17. And while they're on the 1-yard line, poised to score, the Ravens quarterback, yes, rookie Tyler Huntley, exposed the ball as he tried to get over the touchdown line, as he tried to get over the goal line. The ball was knocked out of his hands and squirted backwards. The ball was picked up by Bengals defensive lineman Samuel Hubbard. This guy weighs about 300 pounds. He picks up the ball, rambles 96 yards down the field for a Bengals touchdown, and that was the game, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that was the game. Well, Baltimore's coach, John Harbaugh, got another close but no cigar award. And this has a great honor because he made the playoffs once again just to be eliminated once again in the first round. Meanwhile, the Bengals move on to a rematch of the AFC title championship game that they had last season with Buffalo. Buffalo's hoping to make a difference. We will see. We will see. I think, are they playing? Where are they playing? I'm not sure where they're playing. This was a game that had to be decided, you know, a continuation of the last game in which where Damar Hamlin got hurt. So I don't know if they're playing it in Cincinnati, but we will find out. And I will have more for you on that on Friday. I will tell you, I will let you know if indeed that game is being played in Cincinnati or Buffalo or at a neutral site. Now, in the upset of the day, now I'm not the only person who saw it. Anyway, the upset of the day was that the New York Football Giants traveled to Minnesota. That's right, Minneapolis, St. Paul, to take on the Minnesota Vikings. And they lost. I mean, no. The Vikings lost. The Giants won. Yes, the Giants won 31-24. But as I said on Friday, something was funny, hinky, funny, strange about this game. And I said that because the Giants, they were 13-4, 13-4 over the season. And they were only 2.5-point favorites over the 9-7-1 Giants, who were like in third place in the division, behind the Eagles, behind the Cowboys, and then you had the Giants pulling up, at 9-7-1. It just didn't add up. I don't know what the odds makers knew. Anyway, it didn't add up to me. So the Vikings took the opening kickoff, and they marched down the field for a touchdown, just like that. That was interesting. The Giants took the kickoff on that touchdown, and they marched down the field with a touchdown of their own. And they did it mostly through passing plays, okay? Usually the Giants are a run-first team because they have Saquon Barkley, but this all changed. Their coach changed it up, and they became a pass-first team. Watch. Minnesota on the next possession got stymied, and so they had to punt. That resulted in a punt. New York's next possession, they started throwing the ball again, and that resulted in another Giants touchdown. Now the pressure was on the Vikings, and of course, they couldn't get it together. And on the next possession, that resulted in a punt. The Giants, on the other hand, on their next possession, went down the field and kicked a field goal, and the score was now 17-7. Minnesota, we have a problem. Minnesota's problem was they couldn't stop the Giants' offense. The Giants were passing down the field. Well, gee, like as if Y.A. Tittle was out there, as if Eli Manning was out there, and Plaxico Burress and David Tyree. Okay, they were just going up and down the field on the Vikings, passing the ball, and then they would throw in Saquon Barkley on the screen or a run, and he was tearing them up. So Minnesota was getting their butts handed to them, and they had no answer to them. Going into the fourth quarter, New York led 24-21. Now, eventually in the fourth quarter, Minnesota would kick a field goal to tie it. But after that field goal, the Giants came right back with a touchdown going 75 yards in 12 plays to make it 31-24, and that is the way the game ended. Minnesota couldn't get the job done, and now they are done for the season. The Giants, on the other hand, they move on to play their old arch rival and arch nemesis, the Philadelphia Eagles. That will happen next week, or this week, sometime this week. Now, as I mentioned, there's one last game being played tonight. The Dallas Cowboys are traveling to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Now, the pressure's on the Cowboys. They haven't won a road playoff game in 30 years, and the Cowboys and pressure do not mix well. Generally, they will lose. And normally, I would expect them to lose. But tonight could be their lucky night. Because even though I would like to see a Tom Brady win, I have no faith in Todd Bowles as a coach to have his team motivated, fired up, and ready to go. No, I don't. He has not shown this all year. He didn't show this when he was with the New York Jets years ago. His team consistently showed up unmotivated and unprepared to play. So I'm taking Dallas in this one. Yeah, I'm picking Dallas. I would like to pick the Buccaneers, but I'm taking Dallas. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, I picked the Chargers and the Vikings to win. So, think about that. Okay? So, I think what I'm trying to say is don't bet on these games. They're unpredictable. How did that turn out? I took the Giants, I took the Chargers and the Vikings to win, and they both lost. So remember, sports fans, have fun, enjoy the game. But remember, you are the most important person in sports. Don't go crazy and bet the house on anything. No. Enjoy the games. And sometimes that means not betting on them. That's right. Take care of yourself first and your family. They're more important than any of these games. Take care of yourself and your family. Okay? Spend some time with them. Go to the park. Read the Bible with them. Do things that are family oriented. And maybe some sports can be mixed in this family orientation. Play catch. Throw the frisbee with one another. Okay? And most of all, try not to bet on these games. Nothing is a sure bet. And with that, I say adios, au revoir, arrivederci, vaya con Dios, and ciao. Have a good day, everybody. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Good night. Oh, wait a second. Good day.